Hello, my name is Nick, and welcome to the Schedules webinar. In today's class, we're going to go through and look at how schedules help to clarify drawings by providing information about specific elements within your model. You can instantly create door, window, and member or room schedules for any location in your project. Schedules can be customized to suit your needs. Once you have generated a schedule, you can insert it in your project with a simple mouse click. So in today's class, we're going to go through some detailed information about how to add in door and window schedules. We're also going to be looking at how to add in room finish schedules, member schedules, and then inserting these schedules into a worksheet view. So first, let's look at door and window schedules. You can instantly generate a door or window schedule for each building location within your project, and then insert it into your drawing area. When you create a door or window schedule, each door or window in the floor plan is tagged with a unique symbol that will be referenced in the schedule itself. You can customize the layout and appearance of a schedule you want. Just a quick note here, before you can create a window or door schedule, you must first have windows and doors inserted in your floor plan. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the drawing file that I have open here. You can see that we have doors and windows already inserted on this ground floor location. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to select Tools, Analyze, Schedules, and I'm going to select the Window Schedule option. This will bring up the Window Schedule dialog box. And in this dialog box, we can see that it's breaking it down into the schedule title name, which we're going to see is Window Schedule. We can also see that it's showing us an idea of what the schedule is going to look like. We can see that we have an elevation or a graphic of what that window is going to look like. We can see the mark, the size, and the description, as well as the count and any notes that are going to be assigned to that particular window itself. If you want to create a schedule for a different building location, you can click in the reference building location option and use the drop-down menu to select a different location to add in a window schedule for another location. By default, the windows in your floor plan will be tagged with the schedule marks. These marks correspond to mark information in the schedule. If you do not want to tag your windows, you can display the tag elements with schedule marks checkbox. So all you would have to do is uncheck this, and it would not add in any of the marks for those particular windows. Just a tip here, you can hide schedule marks from view at any time in model view or worksheet view by using the view filter. You can also print your schedules directly to a physical printer or to a digital PDF file format by clicking the print button in this dialog box. We're going to go up and we're going to click on the setup button, and this is going to bring up a different dialog box called Schedule Setup. And within this Schedule Setup dialog box, we can specify which information we want reported and how we want it to appear. At the top of the dialog box, you can specify a default schedule title. Every time you create a window schedule, this will be the default title. You can edit the title of each schedule in the window schedule dialog. In the layout section of the dialog box, you can define what information will appear in the schedule. A preview of the column layout is displayed at the top. If you click on a column heading, the heading, content, and width settings for that column are displayed below the preview. You can customize these settings to suit your needs. The heading is a title for the column in the schedule. So here we can see heading, and what that heading is going to be named is going to be typed into this edit box. The content is a content drop box contains a list of different information types. This setting determines what information is reported in each column in your schedule. You can again select the best option for the column you have selected. For example, if you have selected the size column, you would likely choose the height by width or width by height option for that column. And here we can see under our elevation option, we're using the content of graphic so that we can see an image of the window that we're adding in. The width refers to the width of the column. You want to ensure that you have enough space to fit the content. The description and size columns need to have a generous amount of space since they do have increased content. So here you can see the width column. Just another quick tip here, to add a column to your schedule, you can click the Insert button and complete the heading, content and width settings accordingly. A new column will always insert to the left of the currently selected column. So if I select Mark and I select Insert, it will always add it to the left of that column. To remove or delete a column, you can simply select it and then select the Remove option to remove that selected column. In the Mark Elements section, you can manipulate the appearance of the marks that will tag each window in your floor plan. You can select a mark style, which is going to be the shape of that tag. You can change the text style and line styles for the marks, as well as the mark's offset distance from the window. So here we can see, again, the type we're going to be using is going to be an octagon. It's going to be using the text style of marks. And then we're going to have this sitting about 5 inches away from the window. We can also adjust the color to be whatever color we want for that particular text. In the schedule appearance section area, you can customize the general appearance of the schedule. You can select different text styles for the title, headings, and content, change the justification of the text within each column, and select a line style for the schedule's border and division lines. So each one of these settings is going to have its own option for, again, a text style for each one of these. So for the title, headings, and content, you can have different text styles assigned to them. And then again, you can control the color of both the border and the division lines within that text. Just another quick tip here, every dialog box in Envisioneer does have a help button at the top of the dialog. So if you need an explanation of any of the dialog's variables, just simply click that button to bring up the help menu. Once we're happy with how everything looks, we can simply select OK to accept the changes for that dialog. We're then just going to simply select OK in the Windows Schedule dialog, and the schedule is then going to be generated and attached to our cursor. So I'm just going to say OK, and now attached to my cursor is going to be that schedule, and I'm going to insert mine off to the side of the screen into this white space area off to the side. Once you left click to insert it, you're now going to be able to see the window schedule, the elevation, mark, size, description, count, and notes. Everything that we've defined in the schedule is now visible. And we can now also see an elevation view of what each of those windows looks like. Another tip here, you can edit an inserted schedule by double clicking it or by selecting it and choosing its properties from the right click menu. Marks added to the floor plan will also update according to changes made to an inserted schedule. Just another note here, creating a door schedule uses exactly the same process used to create a window schedule, except you would go up and select Tools, Analyze Schedules, and you would select the door schedule option. And it will bring up the exact same looking dialog box that you can then edit. Next, we're going to be looking at room finish schedules. A room finish schedule reports information such as the area, perimeter, and volume of each room or region in your model. You can also include custom content in the schedule, such as the floor, wall, or ceiling finishes you intend to use. To generate a room finish schedule, you must first define your room regions in your project using the room region by picking points or the room region by room tool. I'm going to zoom in on our model, and we're going to go up and we're going to select Tools, Analyze, and we're going to select the schedules, and then we're going to select the room region by room option. In the room region dialog box, you can customize the information that will appear for each room. So by default, we're going to change this display name, and we're going to be able to change this to give it a specific name. So again, you can choose to identify the rooms by its name or by a mark on the floor plan. If you want to identify it by the name, enable the name display and type in the name of the room that you want to type in. If you want to identify the room by a mark, enable the display mark radial button and then type in the edit box what you want that mark to show. Just a note here, both the name and the mark appear in the room region schedule by default. So you can specify both of these items here. So if I want to make sure that this shows up as a unique display mark in my schedule, then I would also want to make sure that I change not only the display name to say living room, but I also want to make sure that I have the display mark set up to have its own special mark number. In the calculation display area, you can specify if you want the area, perimeter, and volume to appear in the schedule itself. If you do include the volume, you must also specify the room's height in the height edit box. We're going to create ours as just calculating just the area of our room, but again, you can change this to show the display perimeter and as well as the volume. We're going to use the additional schedule fields area to specify finish information for the room, such as the floor finish and wall finish. So in here, we can add in reference notes. We can change how we want this to be displayed. So specifying a different floor finish, a different ceiling finish, what type of wall finish color we want to apply, and then the base finish for that room as well. And you can type in anything you want into these areas, and that's what will be displayed in the room region. We're going to go in and we're going to insert this into our area. So I'm just going to left click once. I'm going to bring my mouse into the drawing area, and I'm just going to left click to place this into that main room. And here we can see the living room now has an area set up as 311.1 feet. This is a continuous command, so the command will repopulate again with that dialog box. So you can then just click cancel if you're done, or you can specify your next room area. And I'm going to specify the next room as the foyer. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to type foyer. And I'm going to change my display mark to be A2. And I want this to show the actual name. So I want to make sure that display name is the radial button that is selected. Again, we're going to change this to just be the area. I'm going to change this from carpet to hardwood because it's going to be my front entryway. So I'm going to make that hardwood. And everything else can stay the same. I do want the ceiling to be painted, the wall finish to be painted, and my base trim to be the same oak finish. I'm then just going to say OK, and I'm going to drop in that new room region in that front entryway. And then I'm just going to click cancel to exit out of that command. Next, we're going to go up and we're going to select Tools, Analyze, Schedules, and this time we're going to select Room Region Schedule. We're now going to see a dialog that looks very familiar to what our Windows and Doors schedule dialog looks like. So again, you can type in the schedule title at the top, and you can also go through and customize the setup to change how you want certain things to be displayed. If you come into this area here, we can see that it's also showing our wall finish, our baseboard options, our floor finish, and then any kind of notes. you'll notice that it's not showing the ceiling finish in here. If you want to add that in, we're going to go up to Setup. We're going to select one of these options. And again, remembering that if I select and add in a column, it's always going to insert it to the left. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to say Insert, and this is going to be Ceiling Finish. And under the content, I want that to bring in the ceiling finish content. The width, I'll leave at 2 inches, that should be good, and everything else will stay the same. I'm now just going to simply select OK. And now what we'll see is our wall finish, our baseboard options, our floor finish, and our ceiling finish. Now when I select OK, and we can also see our marks are also different, A1 and A2, now I can just simply select OK, and then attached to my cursor will be that room finish schedule that I will also insert off to the side. Just a note here, customizing a room region schedule is the same as customizing a window schedule or door schedule. You can again change a schedule using a different location by either going to that location, or in the dialog you can change the actual reference location to be a different location as well. Next, we're going to be looking at member schedules. A member schedule reports the members used to frame your floors, ceilings, and roof. Things like joists, rim joists, and rafters. It also reports decking members that you have inserted in using one of the member tools. Floors, ceilings, and roofs have framing information attached to them in their properties, but their members will not be reported in a member schedule unless you convert their framing to a member first. A note here, Building Essentials and Construction Suite users will need to use the Structural Floor tool to add framing to a floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to select Insert Members, and we're going to select the Convert Framing to Members option. And I'm going to bring my mouse into the drawing area, and I'm going to open up my view filter to see what we have in here. So we do have some floors. I'm going to add in a roof into our design, and we're just going to drop in a roof right over top of this area here. And I'm just going to change that to be a 612, and we're going to add that in. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to select again under Insert Members, and we're going to select the Convert Framing to Members option. And then I'm just going to left click on that roof edge. And it's now taken the members that are a part of that roof, and it's now converted them to be just individual members. And these individual members can now be selected and edited in any way, shape, or form that I need to. A note here, once a surface has been converted to members, the individual members and the surface will be independent of each other. So updating one will not update the other. And what we mean by that is if I select the edge of a roof and I stretch the edge out, the roof surface will stretch, but the framing will not. So it is now totally independent of the other. So you want to make sure that if you're doing this, that you get everything finished first before you convert your members. Now we're going to go up and we're going to select Tools, Analyze, and we're going to select Schedules, and we're going to select Member Schedule. All of the members are going to appear in the Member Schedule dialog box. Each member has a mark, a size, a description, a cut length, and a count. To customize that content, you can again click on the Setup button, otherwise click OK. So here we can see all of the members that are being used to create that particular roof. We can see their size, their description, their cut length, their actual lengths, and then the actual counts. Again, clicking Setup will bring up the Setup schedule where you can add or remove content from the actual schedule. You can change the marks display, their color, their textiles, how you want the schedule to be displayed can all be adjusted in here. We're going to say OK, and we're going to say again, we can change the location, but we're going to stay on the ground floor here, and we want to tag the elements in our schedule or in our drawing as well. So we're going to leave that option selected, and we're going to simply select OK. Now we're going to see our member schedule. We're going to drop it in off to the side, and now we can see all of the tags that represent each member in that drawing area. Another tip here, the member schedule is created for all members on a floor location. If you want the schedule to only reflect one type of framing, such as floor framing or roof framing, duplicate the floor or roof surface to a separate location and create the schedule on that location. To create a new location, you can simply go up and select Settings, Building Locations, and then you can add in a new location. Next, we're going to be looking at inserting schedules onto a worksheet. So once you have completed your 3D model, you can begin creating your construction documents. The easiest way to do this is to go into your worksheet view. This is a simple 2D drafting environment where you can import images of your model, your floor plans, elevations, or sections, and add information to them to create a complete and detailed set of working drawings. To insert a schedule in your worksheet view, you can use the Define Smart View tool to bring up a variety of your 2D floor plans and then isolate the schedule in the view. So in the lower left-hand corner, I'm just going to come down here and I'm just going to select Sheet 1 in my drawing area. This will bring up the worksheet view for me, and I'll see my actual title block in this view. I'm going to go up and I'm going to select Insert, Smart Views, and I'm going to select Define Smart View. This will bring up the Insert View dialog box, and we want to make sure that we are on the 2D tab. This will allow you to bring in a 2D plan view of your model. Since we inserted our schedules in 2D plan view, the 2D option is the one we want to use here. A preview of the floor plan appears on the right side of the dialog. We can click the zoom window button below the preview pane and then click and drag a selection window around the schedule. This isolates the schedule in the preview pane. Keep in mind that what you see in the preview pane is what will be inserted. So over here in our view area, again, what you see is what you get in this window. So if I was to insert this is what I would see in my view when I go to insert it. So I want to make sure that what I want to see is what is visible. And you can do that a couple of different ways here. We can simply just zoom in and look at just the window schedule, and that's all that would be inserted. We can also use our view filter to turn things on and off that we don't want to see. So in this case, I could simply just say display none to everything, and now everything would be turned off on that particular location. If I then go in to terrain, I can turn the terrain off. I can turn off the schedule marks, and I can say OK. And now everything is turned off except for the actual schedules. If you noticed, I moved all of my schedules off to the side and I kind of spaced them apart. I did that on purpose, so that way I can actually just zoom in on a particular part of that schedule, and then I can just simply select Insert to bring it in. Now, I do want to make sure that I change the name of this so I know what this view is. I do find that to be very important. So this view I'm going to call Window Schedule. So that way when I look at this in the list of inserted views, I know what this one is called. So this one's going to be Window Schedule. It's going to be at a 1/4 inch scale. I do want it to be a drawing, and then all I have to do is select Insert. And now attached to my cursor is that window schedule. We'll do that one more time. So we're going to go up here, Define Smart View. Again, we're going to turn everything off using our view filter. So we're going to go Display None. Elements on Terrain, Display None. notation. I don't want to see the marks. I just want to see the schedules. Say OK. And now I can zoom in on this room. We'll do the member schedule here, and we'll see the actual member schedule. Again, I'm going to change this to be member schedule. And we'll make sure that it's, again, using the ground floor at a 1/4 inch scale, set as a drawing. And then we simply select Insert. And now attached to my cursor is the member schedule. If we go back to model, if we notice that some things were just a little bit off, I can take this and move it up. So we'll move that one up to here. We'll go back into our sheet. Now I have a little bit more room. So when I go to insert that smart view, this time I'm just going to insert the view itself. I'm not going to turn anything off. I can just simply, again, change this to be room schedule. Again, 1/4 inch, ground floor, set as a drawing, click Insert, and we can add that in. So I mentioned that it was important to give these views a name. And the reason why it's important to do that is because when you insert a view, if you go up to Insert Smart Views, when you use this drop-down list, it will now show you all the different names of those views. And in here you can see that this drawing has a couple of views that just have generic names. I don't know what any of that is. But since I've given these other views actual names, I know what those are, and I can easily identify just by looking at the name what that view contains. So that's why it's important to make sure you name your views. And that covers everything that I wanted to talk about in today's class. So I'm just going to go over a quick review of what we've covered today. So schedules are a great way of conveying important information about the construction of your model. You can create door, window, member, and room finish schedules for each location in your model. When you create a door, window, or member schedule, the doors, windows, or members in your model are tagged with schedule marks that correspond to the information listed on the schedule. You can choose not to tag the elements if you prefer. To report your floor, ceiling, or roof surface framing in a member schedule, you need to first convert the framing to members using the Convert Framing to Members tool. You can customize the contents and appearance of a schedule by clicking the Setup button in the Schedules dialog. You can do this before or after the schedule has been inserted in your drawing. You can insert a schedule onto a drawing sheet in your worksheet view by choosing a 2D model view to insert that includes a schedule, and then focusing the view on the schedule before inserting it into the sheet. I do want to thank everybody for attending today. Thank you very much.